The tragic loss of the Titanic on its maiden voyage across the Atlantic Ocean to New York over 100 years ago remains a topic of interest to people today. For decades, people have studied this famous passenger liner and wondered what it was like to be on that voyage. Let's take a look at how much Titanic tickets cost and how they compare to today's prices. A ticket to travel on this luxury liner in the year 1912 cost £7 for a third-class ticket. A first-class suite cost £870. At today's rate of inflation, a third-class ticket would cost £850 and a first-class ticket would cost £105,000. When converted to US dollars, the exchange rate in 1912 fluctuated wildly. Most of the time it was $5 to the British pound, so third-class tickets cost $35 and first-class accommodations cost $4,000. Even allowing for inflation, the cost is staggering. Traveling in a first-class suite on the Titanic would cost $133,000. First-class berths would cost $4,500, second class would cost $1,800, and third-class seats would cost $1,100. The calculation shows that the total number of first-class passengers was 324. It is not known how many of these booked standard first-class berths or were upgraded to suites. Of those who booked second-class tickets, 284 were on board, of whom 709 were traveling third class. There were 107 children on board, most of whom traveled third class. The number of passengers and potential passengers was as follows. The maximum capacity when fully loaded was 3,547, including passengers and crew. The number of guests the ship could carry was 2,500. The total number of persons on board was approximately 2,240. If we take these statistics and assume that all first-class passengers paid £30 for their fare, the total fare for everyone in the year 1912 would have been £18,000, or $90,000. And in today's money, the total cost of the Titanic was $2,750,000. Interestingly, the survivors sued White Star Line for $16 million. White Star Line paid only $664,000. What was the most expensive ticket on the Titanic? It is believed that the most expensive suite had 2 bedrooms and a living room. Its occupant was Charlotte Drake Cardessa, a patron of American art. Charlotte traveled with her maid, valet, and 36-year-old son, all of whom survived. However, they left behind 14 suitcases of their luggage. The first-class rooms were of the same standard as many upscale hotels of the time. Some onboard amenities were provided especially for these guests, such as squash courts, gymnasiums, Turkish baths, swimming pools, shuffleboard, and chess. First-class passengers could dine in the main dining room. Dinner was traditionally served from 7 o'clock in the evening until 8 hours and 15 minutes later. Those traveling first class could also pay a little more to eat in an a la carte restaurant. The food was first class. It included oysters, canapés, expensive cuts of meat, and various cheese platters and French pastries for dessert. French cuisine tended to dominate the menu. However, American and British options were also available. And those who traveled second class had more comfort than third class. They had separate staterooms with shared bathrooms. They had access to a library, smoking rooms for men only, and promenade decks where they could enjoy the fresh sea air. Other dining rooms could accommodate all guests at once. The menu was more limited but still varied. As for third class, tickets for third-class rooms cost 7% of the average annual salary of a skilled laborer in England. Many of the third-class passengers were eager to set sail to start a new life and build a future in America. Titanic had 2 dining rooms for third-class passengers, open decks and lounges. They did not eat lunch, but had tea and dinner, as dinner was only for the upper classes. So, how much did a ticket cost on the Titanic? Actually, the cost depended on what class of ticket the visitor purchased. Either way, this luxury liner cost more than the average ticket price for any other liner at the time. But no matter what class you traveled in, it was an enjoyable time aboard.